Shut your eyes!
Dean and Sam Winchester have hunted ghosts, demons, spirits, and got embroiled in a war between heaven and hell for 15 glorious seasons between 2005 and 2020. Though the show ended 5 years ago, fans are still gaga over it, and their need for more supernatural content is being answered in the form of comic books. The very first issue of Supernatural has now been released, with writing by Greg Pak, who was written for Batman, Superman, and John Wick, and art by Eder Messias, who's drawn for Sam Wilson, Captain America, and Ironheart. The comic book is returning to what many fans believe was the best part of the show, when the brothers hunted a monster every episode before all the Archangel business. An interquel between the first and second seasons, the comic books will show us some unseen adventures of Sam and Dean. Without more delay, let's dive right in, but make sure to tap that subscribe button. It's a small click for you, but it means the world to us to have you as our subscriber. Bottled up problems. In Windler, Michigan, Gloria Wilson angrily comments about her husband Richie's drinking problem. Richie assures her that he's just celebrating the fact that everything they ever wanted would be theirs soon. He rushes out of the house with a bottle of Windler's Bad Boy whiskey. Windler's is where Richie also works. On his way out, the man trips on the steps and falls down. The bottle cracks open and a gray cloud rushes out. As Richie watches in disappointment and horror, he catches on fire. Within seconds, he's reduced to ashes as he screams. In a nearby diner, we meet the brothers. For those of you who haven't watched the show, let me catch you up real quick on the events that have happened before this. Dean and Sam Winchester are the children of John and Mary Winchester. They were a small, happy family, but things changed when Sam was still an infant. John found Mary burning on the top of their ceiling, and since then, he's dedicated his life to hunting paranormal beings. He was obsessed with finding the demon who killed his beloved wife and uprooted all sense of normalcy for Dean and Sam. From a young age, both of them were trained to be hunters under the stern eye of John Winchester. Eventually, Sam got bored with constantly moving from town to town, and through his hard work, got into Stanford University. Sometime later, John went missing, and Dean asked Sam to join him, but Sam liked his life at Stanford and refused to come. But when his girlfriend Jess is found burning on the ceiling just like his mother, Sam decides to join Dean, find John, and lay waste to the demon playing with the lives of their loved ones. Their only other companion is the black 1967 Chevrolet Impala, Dean's prized possession. They imitate FBI officers, private investigators, and cops to conduct their supernatural investigations and conduct bank fraud to sustain themselves. In the diner where we find them, Dean asks Sam for some money as the fake credit card he made got rejected. Criticizing Dean for the bank fraud, Sam hands over his wallet, but Dean reminds him that it's a family business and he's as much to blame as Dean and John. Sam also asks Dean about his flirting with the waitress, and Dean quips that he can't help it if Sam hates everything awesome. Sam, however, would like to live his life, but he can't wipe the image of his girlfriend burning on the ceiling from his memory. Thinking about the fateful night, Sam zones out till Dean pulls him back. Sam had not been having those horrible dreams again, but was now seeing them even while awake. Dean consoles him, promising that they will find the monster responsible and shank it. Sam perks up a bit at this and tells him they might catch the monster sooner, as he felt something similar happening close by. He rushes them out of the diner quickly, despite Dean not being happy about it since he was trying his luck with the waitress. Boys in their element. On their way there, Dean complains about the accelerator of the car, and Sam reminds him that if he had used the fake credit card to go buy gas, they could have been driving around in the Impala. Dean then asks Sam not to mention it to their father. Sam teases that Dean wouldn't get into trouble as he's the golden child who stayed behind even when Sam left for college. But Dean knows that nothing is good enough for John. I had almost forgotten how horrible of a father John was to Dean and Sam. Moving right along, Dean and Sam introduce themselves as Agent Roth and Halen, sent from Windler to Gloria, who was angrily collecting what was left of her husband's body. While Dean investigated the site with his EMF reader, Sam pitches in to help Gloria. Apologizing for the rather intrusive question, Sam asks why she doesn't seem to be in grief over her husband's passing. Gloria tells Sam that she had only been arguing with her husband lately, and though he had worked for 12 years and invented new products for his boss, Steph Windler didn't bother giving him a promotion or raise. On the last day of his life, Richie had promised good stuff happening to him, and according to Gloria, ran out and set himself on fire. She said that it's weird that the biggest perk Richie got at his job, discounted liquor, was the reason he died, as the cops believed he was a victim of spontaneous human combustion. Later, Sam expresses doubt about the reason, but Dean brushes him off, pointing to an internet forum where people had cited drinking too much as a reason for spontaneous human combustion. He suggests going back to Omaha as this was a case for scientists and not ghost hunters. Sam, who had been reading John's book, tells Dean that according to their father, if fire was involved, it was likely the cause of demons, dragons, or solvents. The root of all problems: capitalism. Before Dean can brush him off once again, a woman approaches them. She introduces herself as Effie from the brewery and asks whether they're working for Windler. When Sam affirms, she tells them that she'd been expecting them, as the New York office had informed her of their arrival. Dean yet again pays no heed to his brother's warnings and takes them to the brewery. Effie takes them to the development lab, which had burned down the very day after Richie had died. Dean does believe that the coincidence is weird and pulls out his EMF reader, which begins beeping immediately. Effie sees the EMF reader and begins to freak out as she realizes they're ghost hunters. She also shows them the salt that she had lined the doors with after the New York office told her to, in order to absorb the chemicals that might have leaked. Dean calms her down, saying they're professionals, and Sam, with the help of John's book, tells her that they're dealing with an imp. To get the greatest of earthly riches, all you had to do is trap an imp in a bottle that would guarantee a place in hell for your soul. Effie deduces that the caught imp probably escaped and murdered Richie. Right then, a huge flaming monster with one eye roars and catches their attention. The imp, now grown, hovered outside the lab as Effie and the two brothers remained inside the lab thanks to the salt. They attack the imp with their weapons and nothing seems to kill it. John's book has the right way to get rid of an imp though, and Sam reads out a chant from the book to turn a bottle into an imp-sucking vacuum. He opens the bottle and it starts pulling the imp inside. But Dean, not willing to send his brother's soul to hell, tries to get a hand on the bottle. In their scuffle, the bottle falls down and Effie is the one who holds it and bottles the imp. Dean looks at Effie with pity for condemning her soul, but Effie smirks and tells them that she's none other than Steph Windler, the CEO of Windler Enterprises, who was looking for a way to trap the imp after Richie had stolen away the bottle. She's also delighted to know that she can now monetize the occult. Congratulating them for being good enough to carry the name of the legendary John Winchester, Effie asks them to reach out if they ever wanted a permanent position. As the Winchesters drive home, Sam complains how the worst of people seem to benefit in the world. With no more money left for motels, Dean drives them to Las Vegas to try to get some easy money. Marvelous verdict. The story seems so short, but it was completely entertaining. I did miss some of Dean's quips that the show was full of, but maybe the writers will add more of them in the coming issues. What did you think of the Supernatural comic book? Let us know in the comments below, and if you liked this video, consider tapping that thumbs up. Until we meet again, goodbye!